హాయ్ ఫిల్మ్ లవర్స్, ఈ థంబ్నెయిల్ చూసి ఆల్రెడీ కంటెంట్ ఏంటో అర్థమైపోయి ఉంటుంది. కానీ కళ్ళజోడు చూసి మీరు అనుకోవచ్చు
ఏదో తేడాగా ఉందేంటి.
దీని క్లారిఫికేషన్ ఏంటంటే ఇంటర్వ్యూ చేసేటప్పుడు ఐ ఇన్ఫెక్షన్ వచ్చింది, సో కళ్ళజోడు పెట్టుకోవాల్సి వచ్చింది. అలాగే అక్కడక్కడ ఆక్వర్డ్గా నర్వస్గా కూడా కనిపించవచ్చు. కానీ ఈ కాన్వర్జేషన్ని నేనైతే చాలా ఎంజాయ్ చేశాను. కొన్ని కొత్త విషయాల్ని నేర్చుకున్నాను. మీరు కూడా పూర్తిగా చూడడానికి ట్రై చేయండి. ఖచ్చితంగా సినిమాలకి సంబంధించి మన మూవీ లవర్స్కి కనెక్ట్ అయ్యేటువంటి మంచి పాయింట్స్ చాలా ఉన్నాయి. ఐ సిన్సియర్లీ హోప్ యూ లైక్ దిస్ కాన్వర్జేషన్.
Hi Rakshit sir, hi Hemanth sir. Welcome to Filmy Geeks. I've seen the film, it made me cry and it made me so emotional. I wanted to ask you few questions. Actually, you said that this film is inspired by a real incident, right? When you write and when you transform it into a movie, what is the particular emotion that you want to translate it to audience? It is a real incident, of course, you'll be writing and you'll be adding few things. But what is that particular emotion that you want audience to feel?
No, the real incident is just one accident that I witnessed. It was not the story is completely written inspired from real life. I see a lot of things around me and like how people love each other, and everyday people, the way they show love is something that for me is very fascinating and is often not celebrated, I feel. And it is something that I feel is very beautiful. So I wanted to make a film that is about simplicity, about how two people just very simply love each other. They are in a relationship, they are very committed to each other. And I didn't want to glorify it. I wanted to make it very intimate. I didn't want to, ever use it like this is the greatest love story. It is not. It is just a love story where two people are so invested in each other, and it is something that is so common and thereby so unique, because it is so because you're trying to focus on something that is there, around you. So I started building the characters and the world, and then started building scenes around these characters, understanding these characters, and that's how the script.
So the minimalistic approach, be it visuals or sound design, when does it come from? I mean, during the writing or filmmaking?
During the writing, obviously. Your writing is the compass. It becomes the tool and Bible for everybody, even for the actors, as to how they should perform, even for the technicians, in terms of how they should do their work. That is the map that you are giving them. And even for me to direct it, it becomes a very clear idea as to how do I approach a scene. I will always go back to the paper in terms of what is written and try and understand the emotion there. So it is very crucial in that sense, because it gives a sense of everything, like why I should treat a scene a certain way, why I should compose a shot a certain way. So all that I get from this script. And when me and Gundu Shetty, the other writer, when we discuss, that's how we construct the world.
And I'm just wondering whether it is cinematographer or musician or sound designer, when you give them the script, do they really add to your vision? Let's say because the sound design is so immersive and it adds to the storytelling of Sapta Sagaralu, right? Without sound design, we can't imagine that much impact. And similarly, music. It is soulful and it has so much of warmth and internal psychology, right? So I'm just wondering, did they add any extra layers to the already existing story?
Of course. See, when the way film is a very collaborative effort.
Yes.
It is a collaborative art form. It is not just one person who makes a film. You need a village to make a film. You need everybody to come and do their thing. And I, as a director, as a person who has the vision, should allow for other people to make the film their own. That's how it becomes something bigger than me. Cinema should always be bigger than me, bigger than anybody in the film. So when that is the ethic with which I work. That is the way I've made all my films. That is the way I'll make all my films. So each person comes and the music director comes and he wants to express himself. I will be drawing the boundaries for his expression in a way. I will be not trying to stifle him. I don't want to control him, but I also want to give him enough space to explore and create. So if if he wants to do something like out of design, for example, I should allow him to do it. Like the cinematographer wants to use a certain kind of, lighting pattern or, certain kind of composition, which might not be what I want, but it'll still do something. Then I have to keep it in mind. If the actor, when Rakshit is performing or Rukmini is performing, they do something which is not there in the script, I should be in that moment keeping an eye for it, so that I can, take it and allow it to become their characters. So that way, I keep.
And coming to writing part, you mostly avoided cliches and routine tropes that we generally see in love stories. My question is like, what is your opinion or take on giving audience a familiar story or giving new experience? I mean, new experience is always risky, and giving familiarity is kind of safe zone, right? So, what is your opinion as a filmmaker and storyteller? When you give audience a new experience, let's say, it is somewhat risky. So, what is your take on giving this kind of experience?
I am only trying to stay true to the story. We are only trying to stay true to the story.
Okay.
We want to do something that is, as a creator, I'm unique. As a person, I'm unique. There is nobody like me in the world. That is the best way to look at it, is that our DNAs are uniquely individual. No two people have the same DNA, which means that all of us are, individual by nature. We are a large group, but there is a certain individuality that runs in all of us. So when you're making a film, it is a medium of expression. It is commerce and all that, but you have to have identity, no? For me, that is very important as a filmmaker. So I have to fight for my identity. So Rakshit has to fight for his identity. That's how we want to make films. That's how he has made films. That's how I have made films.
And one more thing is that have you ever anticipated audience reaction? The reason why I'm asking is because it made me cry, it made me heartbroken, all these things. I'm just wondering, while writing the film or making the film, have you ever anticipated that audience will cry?
Not really. I don't do that, because I write as an audience. So if I am crying somewhere when I'm writing it, I extrapolate that the audience might cry.
Did that happen? Have you ever?
Yeah. Like wherever I have gotten emotional, I'm pretty sure the audience have also gotten emotional there, because I'm so connected at that point. I'm writing as an audience member. So it's not like I look at the audience as a separate entity to me. I don't look at it like they are at my, they're connected to my strings and I'm pulling them. In a way, it is true, but I don't want to be too aware of that, because that, I feel, then it becomes manipulation. It doesn't become organic for me. So I like to create slightly more organically, where I don't know, where they'll get moved. I have to get moved, only then I can create it in the first place. So if I'm getting moved and I'm able to create it in the first place, and an actor comes in and he's able to get moved, for me, that is the biggest testament that the scene is working. Because for everybody who is working, for them it is working at that point of time, then it will work for the audience, right? So, but there will be chances that you take. You don't know how they will experience the film as a whole. As a scene, something will work, but you don't know the experience if the film will create a certain way, and then they'll go out and they'll be like, this film you have to go watch. That you don't know. That you take a chance.
It's magic.
Yeah.
Rakshit sir, you are also a writer, screenwriter, and director, no? So I'm just wondering what aspect of Hemanth sir's writing, did you really like from past 3 films and this film also?
I mean, the idea that this film is a poetry is what I liked because script-wise, I had heard even before we started started shooting the film, I had heard the script and I knew it's going to be a nice film. But I was very curious that how is he going to shoot it? Because what will be the final product? Which I started getting clarity once only he started shooting the film, and I think by not during them searching for because we started with Priya and Manu searching for apartments, things like that. Not there, but as he started shooting the slow motion shots, especially probably after first 30 minutes of the film, especially once I go to the jail, all that, I realize what kind of a film he's trying to make, and probably I started enjoying the process. because then I started becoming more curious that how is
And as performance wise, you made me cry 2 times because 777 Charlie and this one. So I'm just wondering, each of the film has kind of suffering and kind of brokenness, whether it is 777 Charlie or to a certain extent Godib Banna and this film. Every role is different, every suffering is different, and how do you internalize these characters and these, I mean, the suffering part, because nothing looks same, everything is different, everything is genuine. So I'm just wondering, how do you internalize these characters?
luckily I've not shot 2 films at a time, so I always had time to break from one character to and get into another character. And first thing what we always do is, before we play any character, find that character inside you. How much of Manu is inside me? How much of Dharma is inside me? And from there you start building. You know, as you shoot like 3-4 scenes, you get more clarity about the character, because until then you have heard the script, but when you play it, you actually start knowing your body language, the way it is turning out. If you don't like it, then probably you start working on it, that you know, okay, oh, this is not working, let's do something else. But if the first 4-5 days clicks, and if you start internally, you start feeling that, oh, you know, this is Dharma, this is Manu, this is how it is proper, you're satisfied from inside, then it's just about, you know, going with the flow, and you know, with each scene you actually get deeper into the character.
And do you discover yourself, I mean, as a character, do you discover yourself with each scene, with each passing day while shooting?
As a character?
As a character.
Yes. In the sense, are you asking me that do I compare myself with the character?
No. The first day you will be knowing few parts of the character, no?
Correct.
You will, as you go along, you will discover more.
Yeah. As I discover more, I get deeper into the character, and that helps actually, because it's always nice, like when you start watching a film, and when you start watching an actor performance, you know, if you get deeper into his performance as the film goes towards the climax, I think that is more beautiful than in the first 5 minutes you actually know the character.
Yes.
Oh, this is him. You should know his nuances, all that fine, but not how is he feeling internally. I think that is a good flow. So as I shoot for every scene and I get deeper into the character, I believe audience also will get deeper into the character along with me. Subconsciously. So I think that is more beautiful, you know, in cinema.
I think I've seen that in 777 Charlie, because you start in a certain way towards the dog, and when you go along, you love the dog, and you have this whole journey.
But see, 777 Charlie, that's the only film where I was shooting 2 films at a time. Okay. In the sense, I was doing Avnashriman Narayana, which is a complete wacky character, who is, you know, lively, all that. At the same time, I'm shooting one Dharma character who is completely introvert to the extreme. So, but I finished Avnashriman Narayana by the time I finished Charlie's first half, and second half is when I actually went out of Shriman Narayana character and went inside Charlie's Dharma. But yeah.
So, one more question. You said that you take inspiration mostly from real life.
Yeah.
But as a film lover, like, I would like to know, have you had any cinematic influences for this particular film?
Many. I'm a student of cinema, so
yes, obviously.
There are many influences, like many, as in you. There are.
Can you name a few? Because after I watched the film, I felt that there is strong Balu Mahendra influence. I mean, there is one film called Nirikshana. I mean, if you don't know or not, I don't know.
I know.
So, what are your influences? Can you name any 1 or 2, like, for the filmy geek in me?
I would say Balu Mahendra, sir, for sure. Then from many, as in, it's like putting me under the spot where suddenly I'm.
No, I mean, till any.
K. Balachandran sir, Mani Ratnam sir, obviously. Mani sir is, especially for romance, it's the kind of films that he has done and the kind of experiences that he has created. I have understood love stories the best because of the way he makes the stories intimate. There is a certain voyeuristic appeal to love stories. You are seeing two people experience a very, very private moment in a hall full of people, right? It is their secret, but you are a witness to it. Good love stories do that, where the moment is the most secretive thing between those two people, but we as an audience are getting a very voyeuristic look into it. So that I think is common in a lot of good love stories.
Do you think it is voyeuristic? It is sacred, no? Because
It is voyeuristic doesn't have to be bad.
yeah, of course.
It doesn't have to be always.
Cinematically, it is. I think it is sacred.
We are looking,
Yes,
right?
yes.
We are watching. So it's like you're providing a witness to that love story secretly.
Secretly, yes.
So hence the voyeuristic aspect to it. So it is it is not. So those kind of influences are there. Filmmaking wise, I have assisted Kasaroli sir, Girish Kasaroli sir. So there's a lot of stuff that I've learned from him, speaking from Kannada. So there are a lot of influences. There is not one. I'm a huge Scorsese fan.
Oh,
I love Kristofsky in terms of colors. Red, white, blue is one of my favorite
So blue
films.
color.
Richard
Richard Linklater.
Linklater, Before Sunrise, the trilogy. So usual.
Fantastic. You started this film in the middle of a relationship,
Correct.
right? So that is a very interesting decision, considering this is a love story and it is like an epic love story. It spans two parts and it spans whole life, right? When did that decision come, right?
For me, see, the thing is that when you show two people falling in love, it becomes their story. Like it becomes person A and person B and how they fell in love. There is an origin to it. Thereby, it is sort of only theirs. When you start a story in the middle and they're already in love, it is everybody's story. Because I'm not trying to tell what love is. I'm trying to say love exists between two people. So my approach was never to show that, prove, because see what happens is when you show a beginning of a relationship, you have to discover that love. That I have to discover that I have love towards person A, and person A has to discover that I have love. The reciprocation is there. So the path of discovery itself takes up a sizable time, and that has to be believable. Now, I wanted to, the moment you do this, you have to justify as to why this person is falling in love with this person, why this person is falling in love with this person. For me, I wanted to start the story midway because I wanted it to, start at a certain tempo. I wanted it to start at a certain stage in the story where they already are, 3-4 years into the relationship, maybe longer, and they want to settle down. So that is where the relationship is at a very serious stage. It is no longer in the honeymoon phase. It is moved much ahead. So for me, that was a very interesting place to start with, and it felt very unconventional also.
Yes,
so it just felt right.
I think every audience member will have their own origin story, I think.
Correct.
Right?
It generalizes the whole thing. The whole point is that, since I'm not telling you what this emotion is, I'm taking for granted that you know this emotion. So then when the two people are creating that moment between them, it will connect. The idea is for it to connect because you already know what it is.
And one more thing is like pacing of the film. So how much is the decision of you and your editor? How was the...
I'm the editor. So,
I'm really sorry.
So it becomes easy to have that conversation.
So you've edited the entire film?
Me and there's another boy called Sunil.
Okay.
We edited it together.
So you write the scene with editing in mind?
Yes.
That's beautiful. So it becomes easy, I think.
Yeah. And the pacing also becomes, there is the certain rhythm that I have tried to retain within the film.
Yes.
There's a rhythm to the performance, there's a rhythm to the edit, there's a rhythm to the story and the way it unfolds. I could have fastened it up but I didn't want to. There was an intentional silence that I wanted to percolate to the audience. I wanted to give that space. That is the demand of the film in terms of how it had come out.
Yes.
It would have been very unjust to the performances if I had fastened it. I have fastened it here and there, but it felt this.
Yes,
this
it
is
needs
the-
that breathing space.
Correct, correct.
It is not just unjust to audience also if you fasten up.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel really the pacing is apt.
Mm-hmm.
Given it is 2 parts, still the pacing is apt.
Good to hear that.
Okay, coming to Telugu audience and Telugu perspective, the trailer and songs, especially the song, it is on par with the Kannada version. I feel really the music is on par with the Kannada version. And do you feel the dubbing would do the justice? I mean, can you comment on the quality of the dubbing?
I think the good thing is that because Rakshit has done Avnesh Narayana and Charlie, and there is a team that has been put into place, and there is a certain quality standard that people before me have set. Like Sachin did that. I have to give credit to Kiran. They have done a lot of due diligence. They have gone through a lot of. So I have acquired a lot of shared knowledge where they said, don't do this, don't do that. So it was a lot of learnings from them, which I have incorporated. And I have also tried to focus on the nuances, because what I believe is that there is a certain performance to the voice in how somebody dubs, in how somebody lends a voice. So that is something that we have paid attention to, and the dubbing in charge, Mr. Vijay, has done a phenomenal job, is what I feel. It's for the audience to see and tell me, because I am not a native Telugu speaker.
Yes,
So I hope that the intention is to carry forward that emotion, carry forward that that authenticity, to create as good a experience as possible in terms of the Kannada film. And whosoever has watched till now has said that it is the same. So I hope the Telugu audience feels that way, because we have spent a lot of time in getting those things right. Like even in the way the characters speak, the way the pauses are there, the way the mistakes happen in the way they speak. I wanted all those things also to be picked up.
This is the final question for both of you. Sir, what makes a good story? What makes a story good? Because both of you are writers and you already have this, you have your own writing team, no? And both of you are excellent screenwriters, I believe. So what makes a story good? Is it really personal filmmaking? Because some people will say structure matters. Structure. You suggested some screenwriting books also. So what makes
I believe I've read this in one of Christopher Nolan's interview where he talks about the subjective and objective writing, and I was wondering what is subjective writing and objective writing, and then when I went deeper into it, I realized that basically I got to know the way he works on it. That's when I wanted to read more about structure and stuff, because until Kirik Patti, I didn't know any of that. And when I started writing ASN, I wanted to know structure. Okay, let's write something to the structure and see how it works. But then probably after ASN and Charlie and Sapta Sagaradaache Ello got me back into the emotions that because he's very subjective writer. Kiran Raj but he's also very subjective writer. So for me right now, the way I think is basically the story has to come from the heart, but you need to know the structure, because otherwise what comes from the heart can come from 400 pages. Yes. But you can't make a 5 hours or 3.5 hours film. That will be testing people's patience. So you need to know the structure to fit in, into, like if I want to tell a story in like 2.5 hours, so it becomes easy for me that as soon as I know, the first 30 minutes should cover this, the next 30 minutes should cover this, the next 30 minutes should cover this, it becomes easy for me to delete unwanted scenes and not compromising on the product itself, not compromising on the writing itself, not compromising on the character arc or story itself. But there is a possibility. You can always, what 3 scenes convey, you can actually crumple that and can convey it in 1 scene as well. So for me, right now, the way I look at it is everything has a masculine and a feminine aspect to it. So I see objective writing and the subjective writing as two different formats, and I believe both has to be balanced very well. Without the film losing its essence, because as soon as you start writing things for structure, sometimes the soul of the film might be lost, because you are looking at it very like 2 plus 2 is equal to 4.
Yes, obviously.
Yeah, so that shouldn't happen.
There
And
need to be a balance.
yeah.
I feel you make the most personal films in mainstream. I mean, like your films are like personal films disguised as thrillers or crime films. So, what is your take on subjectivity and objectivity?
See, I believe that I have read all the screenwriting books that generally people tend to read, and I have learnt a lot from it. It's not like I am averse to it. I follow the idea. See, the way I look at it is screenwriting, story writing, novel writing, any kind of writing is a simulation of your thoughts. You're communicating an idea, right? The communication, as like how apt you are in your communication, creates an experience for the viewer, for the person who is reading. So whatever helps your ability to communicate better is something that you should look at as a learning tool. That's how I approached it. So I have read all these books, I have studied them, and tried to understand why is a certain thing advised. Why do they say after page number this has to happen? It is because they are trying to organize your thoughts in a way that can best communicate. Now that exists as a template, but you cannot write to the template. You have to find your version of it. You have to make it your own. So you have to find your own path. So it's like that, right? So I keep that influence. I advise all writers, and for myself also, whenever I get stuck, I look at it from a very structural perspective. But I don't look the structure from a perspective where I feel, okay, now this should happen because the structure is demanding. I look at it from the perspective of, is it making sense for the character? Is it making sense for the plot? Is it making sense? From that way, like the characters will start guiding me in that sense. And filmmaking is it is very similar to architecture in the sense that both happen in space and time, right? So houses are also, if you look at it, there is a structure to how you build a house, right? You don't build the ceiling first, you build the foundation first. So the foundation is strong, then you can mold the structure to be anything, to create a certain experience for the person who is going through the house. Now, when it becomes a home, is the strength of the story. Now, all stories might not reach all people. Some stories are only for few people. Like some stories are for everybody. But the idea is to be in the pursuit of stories, and it's very important for the storyteller to feel the story. If you don't, then it's difficult to make a film.
So the two-part structure, did it come organically, naturally?
Yes, organically. Organically.
Organically.
As in, while making the film, I kept feeling like this has to be 2 parts.
And each part is well structured. I felt it is well structured. Did you look at it as after organically writing everything and pouring everything out, did you went back and actually corrected a few things to get the rhythm?
Yeah. That happens. I write freely. I write like as freely as possible. Then I edit.
In later drafts.
Yeah.
Okay. And how is part 2 is going to be? And this is a cliche question, I know, but and one more thing, people who never knew Sapta Sagaralu Dhaati, because few Telugu people in rural areas, they'll not know about the film and about the buzz. So what do you have to say to them and about this two-part structure?
They won't know what to...
No, I mean, few people, this is a fresh start, no, for them. Few people will wait for the dubbing films and they just go to film theater without knowing much.
No, you want to say?
I mean,
we believe cinema will travel and it will travel to places where it deserves. When we say that cinema is much bigger than us, it's not just a statement. We believe in it. So we believe that if the cinema has the potential and it is supposed to travel, it will travel.
Yes, obviously.
Yeah.
And to the people, we can just say we've made a film that is very, we've made a film with all our hearts. Like everybody makes a film with all their hearts only. We have also done that, but we have tried to create an experience. Hopefully it translates.
Yes, obviously. We had an excellent record with dubbing films, which are very honest and true to life. So many Tamil and Kannada films did well here, and I hope that Sapta Sagaralu Dhaati will do very well.
One thing
in
I have to
theatres.
tell about Telugu audience, see, Kannada audience is a very special audience in the sense that the way they have shown love for our kind of films over the years has allowed us to be here. So we have to thank the Kannada audience for creating that platform for us. But at the same time, the way Telugu audience loves cinema, I don't think anywhere in the country they love cinema like that.
Yes,
Like in numbers, I'm talking about. For them, it is like, Friday you have to watch a film. There is like nothing else to do.
It's a culture.
It's a culture.
That is why I'm asking.
It's a very beautiful
People
thing.
In rural areas, they'll just go and watch without knowing much.
Yeah, and it's a very beautiful thing that they
Yes.
just, like somebody was telling me that they go to the film to see why it is bad,
Yes.
which is like mind blowing.
Crazy.
That is.
Somebody is saying, man,
Let's why is it bad? I want to go see. That is just beautiful. I mean, that
Yes,
you will
of
not
course.
find anywhere else. So
Yeah, they love cinema with unconditionally.
yeah. No, that is, it truly is the land of cinema for
Yes,
us.
yes.
You know.
So that's why I hope Sapta Sagaralu Dhaati will do better here also. And I thanks for giving time and looking forward to watch Sapta Sagaralu Dhaati 2 in October.
Thank you.
Do watch it in Telugu also. The first side.
Yeah, I think I'll watch Kannada version first and I'll watch Telugu next.
Oh.
No, side B, side A.
Side A.
Side
A, watch the Telugu version.
Okay, I'll watch Telugu version as well.
Yeah.
Thanks for giving
Thank
time.
you,
Thank you so much.